to play your sport, and how did you end up playing for GCC?
So hi, my name is Riley Center. I am a sophomore, and I'm representing men's track and field. So I decided to start doing track because I needed a sport to compete in and stay in shape after my football season, my senior year, because I was going to transfer for football. And then I actually ended up doing really well in track and winning my league and going to the CIF championship and started getting recruiting for track. I decided to come to GCC not only because I live in La Crescenta and it's close. Coach Lopez, which is the track head coach and cross country head coach, he and his assistants were really wholehearted in recruiting me and trying to get me to the next level. So.
Next up, we have Claire.
Unmute.
Claire, you're on mute.
Okay, hi. Hi, my name's Claire. I'm a sophomore. I'm representing volleyball and beach volleyball. I actually played in high school for a couple of years, but it was more just for like fun. And then my parents actually met on GCC's like co-ed volleyball team when they went there. So they were like, oh, you should do it. It's so fun, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, honestly, like I need something to stay in shape. And then I just reached out to the coach and then it just worked out. And then she took me right in. But yeah, that's it.
Hey guys, I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm Austin Carradine, sophomore at GCC, originally from Long Beach, California, and I'm a left-handed pitcher on the baseball team. After my senior season of high school, I didn't want my baseball career to end, and I didn't have offers or any looks out of high school. But I wanted to have a different experience away from home and a new atmosphere. I was given a great opportunity to compete for a position on the baseball team and continue my pursuit of a degree at Glendale College. It was a great opportunity, and I couldn't turn it down.
Thank you so much for that, guys. Your next question was, how badly has COVID-19 impacted your season? Was your season cut short, canceled, or postponed?
So yeah, my season was cut short, a little less than half, I would probably say. And I wouldn't say it has affected me horribly besides that. It's given me another year to get better since this is only my second year of doing track. And it's actually allowed me to stay with my family for another year. So I like to look at the good things that it's done. But yeah, I did cut my season, which, was pretty sad. But, hopefully we get another one. So.
Okay, I can start. So our season was beach volleyball, and I actually feel like COVID, it really sucked for us because I feel like my partner's Christine, and we just played two people on a court at a time, and I definitely think we were finally like getting into a groove, getting like a good connection, and it kind of sucked that we like finally got good once like COVID really hit. But overall, I think it's been really good for us to like grow as a team, and like we have been doing a lot of Zoom workouts, and we've gotten for sure a lot stronger. And we're lucky because beach is like an outdoor sport, so we always have that, like it's a lot safer too for COVID. So that's exciting that's at least good for us.
The baseball season was cut short after the first game of our second conference series. At first it was postponed, but after a few weeks, it was canceled. We weren't able to meet in person over the summer either. And the summer is a crucial time for incoming freshmen to get acclimated to the program. COVID-19 has also put our fall season in jeopardy. In GCC baseball, the fall is a grueling ramp-up period that weeds out those who can't compete with the academic and athletic workload. So it was a really big hit to lose the summer, last spring, and this fall.
Thank you guys for that. So your third question, is it easier to balance sports, academics, and any other extracurricular activities you might be in now that everything's online? And how was the transition for you?
So the transition for me at first was pretty stressful because I didn't have a computer, but I was able to get a computer pretty quickly with the library and stuff. But once I got into it, it was pretty easy. The only thing, balancing my schedule became a lot harder because I was one of those guys that would show up to school at like 6 and go to class, and then I'd be there till 5. Like I'd go to the training room and stuff. So, balancing that part of my schedule, like having to go to like a separate weight room now, and then, having to like pay to get, have an athletic trainer, that's different in my schedule, but, I'm making it work, and I'm happy I have those opportunities. So.
Okay. For us personally, I would say our coach made it super easy to transition online. For some reason, all of our classes were up, everything's laid out. So I'd say school-wise, it's been no problem. I would say physically, we're not in our best condition just because it's not the same as practicing all together. But overall, like, we can't ask for anything more because they're providing everything. We already have our schedule for everything for next year already up to, and it's going, we're making the most of it. So it's been a pretty smooth transition.
I believe it's been a more difficult transition to balance the academics and the athletics with everything online. Without any face-to-face interaction, kind of challenging to grasp what the coaches and the professors really expect from us. The online classes have been tough to get used to as well. Each professor has a different level of technological experience, making each class have a different set of online protocols. It kind of throws off the rhythm that I've been used to, but I've been adapting.
It's good to hear that you guys are adapting, and it's cool to see that you already have your schedule for next season. So going on to the next one, do you ever feel like balancing everything becomes too much? Is there any advice that you would like to share on how to manage that time?
So like I said in the previous question, I liked being, at school all day and getting everything done before I got home, so it was done. So what has really helped me with this transition has been I have to write out my weekly schedule. I have to make my own schedule. I have to put things on the calendar and stick to them, because if I don't stick to them, then it's going to take me like weeks to get back on track. So, that'd be my advice is, plan your stuff out and stick to it.
For me personally, I would definitely say my biggest thing is managing volleyball, and our Zoom meetings and everything has been great. But for me, it's doing the homework right when it's assigned. It's totally repetition and just getting into a good rhythm as if things are due. Because like now that we're online, I think teachers are more lenient about saying everything's due this date. And it's hard for me to want to be at home and like want to do all my homework just sitting in my bed. It's a lot easier to go like to a study room or something at school. So it's definitely been tougher, but overall it's just like doing what you have to do in that day, and maybe making like a short list of things you need to do helps me a lot too, preparing for the future.
I agree with both of them. Balancing everything is difficult, but it's not overwhelming. I think that writing things in a planner and laying out my whole week has really helped me manage my time. I have a quote that I go by. It's the day starts the night before. And that really makes sure that my stuff is handled the night before so I can wake up and attack the next day. So I think doing that will help everybody in the situation.
Yeah, I definitely agree with like the whole planning out things or like making a list. I know that's even helped me out during this semester. So for your next question, it's gonna be what are some things GCC has offered now that everything is moved to a remote environment? How often do you guys meet with an athletic counselor now?
I have noticed, if I'm being honest, I haven't had, anything really offered to me because I don't have many classes or anything. So I don't really have that need to have that. Obviously lost the weight room, athletic trainer, stuff like that. That was like what I've lost. But meeting with a athletic counselor. Before this, I only met every once in a while because I'm pretty good at keeping it together, and I planned out with our counselors, way in advance. So I haven't met with them much. I think I've met with them twice since we season got canceled back in March. So not much.
I'm taking some pretty hard classes. I'm taking physio and pre-calc, and I definitely think GCC's been really good about, or even our coach for volleyball, she's been really good about pushing, here are tutors, here are online 24-hour access. And I've been going to a lot of the SI meetings, which I actually find a lot easier to do online versus at school because it doesn't interfere with volleyball as much. So that's been good for me. I actually think Molly is amazing. She's one of the best counselors ever. She personally reached out to me because I totally just changed my major. I was like changing it, and I'm transferring to a different school now and everything. I was like freaking out at the beginning of quarantine, but she helped me through it like in one day, and it's been pretty great. And like if you reach out through Miss Liz Rimmer, she'll help you out, get you right in contact with a counselor. Can't complain. It's so easy once you get into like the use of communicating like online and emailing.
Yeah, I agree with Claire. GCC has been really amazing with making sure that the students are accommodated during the online period. The CASA Center has weekly check-ins where we update Ms. Rimmer on how things are going both academically and mentally. And although the summer and fall sessions are online for baseball, we meet on Zoom once or twice a week and we review drills and workouts that we can do during the off time.
So, just kind of like a question for you guys. So through Zoom, you meet with the entire team, and like that's how you guys are staying connected? Can anyone can?
Yeah, baseball team meets about 2 to 3 times a week. It's mandatory for the most part. Everyone has to have their camera on. We're engaging with each other, talking to each other about the COVID updates and everything that's going on. We talk about drills and things that we can do in the future when we do meet in person. So when we hit the field and we get the green light, we can hit the ground running. That's what we've been doing over the summer and the beginning of the fall.
Yeah, for track, we've been doing kind of the same thing. We actually had a Zoom meeting today at 12, and we've been having one per week. But actually, I asked today if we can move it and make it 2 per week because I was noticing people weren't motivated, and we need to get in and have more so people can actually work out. So the coaches are actually be starting some 2 Zoom meetings a week. So.
For volleyball, we're doing 3 Zoom meetings a week. We have an assistant coach and a regular coach, so we kind of switch off between those. And then we have a group like where we do it all together. And we also sometimes, like before we got into this like routine, once school started, we had to film ourselves in time lapse and then send it to our coach doing all of our workouts. So she knew we did them. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, kind of going off of that, like what are some things that you do to stay in shape since the start of quarantine? Anything that you're doing individually, maybe with your team? Maybe explain more about how like your practices are going now that it's all online.
So as a thrower, it's pretty easy to just go out any concrete slab you can find at the park. Just make sure I have a shot put. I mean, I can throw anywhere. So that's really nice. In the summer, I swam a lot. Luckily, I'm able to swim. But during the summer, I had a lot of fun actually finding heavy things to pick up and use as like weight room equipment at home, like pushing my trucks, logs, boulders, like that. That actually made it fun for me in the summer, and it allowed me to actually stay in shape to where I was able to lift. I wasn't very behind. I wasn't like much behind in my old self. So.
For volleyball, it's kind of hard. I mean, everyone kind of has their own ball at home, and you can definitely just do reps at home. But like the best has been like when I've been able to meet up with like a friend and then practice a little at the park. But overall, it's just like making sure you stay in shape for yourself, or you're gonna go back and die in practice. But for me, I personally been walking a lot. I like when I'm bored or something, I just put on Netflix and start walking, and then I'm like, hey, I'm gonna run from this block to this block, and it's just like during quarantine, like you just want to lay in bed and do nothing, but it's so important to like not lose like all like the muscle you had in it before like we went into quarantine. So coach would kill us too if we came back and like couldn't run. But yeah.
Yeah, I definitely seen this circumstance as an opportunity to get an advantage physically. I've been doing a lot of body weight training during the quarantine period. I also had my grandmother actually make a target out of a tarp, and I can hang it from the fence and throw baseballs into it at any park. Also, a teammate and I made a pitching mound so we can throw off of a slope because all of the facilities are closed right now. So it's definitely testing your creativity, but I've been making use of what I have.
I think it's actually like to an advantage to you guys, because I feel like a lot of people aren't, like, they think that they have time, so they're kind of slacking off when you guys are on it, you guys are doing your work. But I know a big part in staying in shape is also your nutrition. So our next question is, has your nutrition gotten better now that you're home? Do you think nutrition will play a big role for athletes that are going back to playing regularly?
So as a thrower and being an offensive lineman, what I eat, is important, but, being as big and strong as possible is my goal. When we were at school, I would spend a lot of money on fast food. So I think being at home actually has helped me to eat better. So I go to the store and I actually buy good food. So, in that aspect, it's helped me. And I do think it is super important because everybody has been hearing, about people that are in quarantine that are gaining weight. And, that's like a big thing. And I think athletes, if they're not sticking to their nutrition, at least close to the way it was when they were at school, they're going to have, some big problems when they get back.
For me personally, I've actually lost some weight over quarantine, which has been really good for me, because at school I used to go to Flame Broiler, go to get Subway, go to In-N-Out, go to all these places. I was like, oh, I've practiced, I'll just burn it all off. But I didn't actually think about what I was putting into my body. And I think quarantine has really helped me figure out myself, and I actually feel fueled now. And I think going back, it just makes you so much stronger in practice and happier with yourself and just excited to be back out on the court.
Yeah, I think nutrition has definitely been something I've been able to dial in now that I'm home more often. Nutrition is important for any athlete who wants to compete at the top level. And the quarantine period has definitely allowed me to dial in a plan and execute it. We don't know when we're going to be back. Everybody's questioning the fall and the spring right now. So that day that we come back, it's going to be okay, who's worked out, who's in shape, who's looking like what? And I definitely think it's a good time to look at your nutrition and take advantage of it.
Thank you, guys. So you guys sort of touched on working on yourself, and definitely nutrition has a lot to do with that. But a lot of the time we also rely on our friends, family, or teammates. So how has your team come together since the start of quarantine? Is there anything that you guys do to keep in touch or keep that bond that you guys would have had if you were in person? Anything like that? How have you guys kept that strong relationship?
So we've been doing Zooms, like I said. We're trying to bump them up to have a little bit more because a lot of us like that social aspect of everything. We're now going to be doing lunch with Jose and Claudia, which is going to be awesome for someone like me who just loves being in there. So that's what keeps bonds with people that you care about. Also, being this will be have to be my third year now. A lot of the people I've been with for 3 years. So I think at least as for the throwers in track and field and men's track and field, we're going to be pretty bonded, and I think it's going to be a great season. And I'm close to some school records, and I think there's going to be some school records broken for sure if we get a season. So
My best friends personally came from volleyball, so I'd say we keep in touch very often, and half the time, sometimes we'll get together at a park and do the workout together while we Zoom with the whole entire team. We just started a Snapchat group chat with all the new kids, so I think that's the hardest, is getting people to break out of their shells for all the new kids, when it's definitely not the same when you're in person meeting someone versus having to meet them over the phone. But honestly, we have a really good group of girls. I actually know some from previous high school, and they all seem to be pretty cool, and everyone's connected in their own way. So it's an exciting season. We just need to bond some more. We're thinking of maybe doing a spread out movie night or something. Non-sport related.
Yeah, the baseball team has been able to meet on Zoom once or twice, maybe 3 times a week over the summer and the beginning of the fall. We go over COVID-19 updates. when we were probably going to get back on the field, what it's going to look like when we get on the field. And also the sophomores and returning guys have created group chats where we can have the incoming guys, freshmen, reach out and talk to a returner about any questions they have about Canvas, class, the baseball program in general. And I think it's been a real good opportunity to meet the new guys, because it's going to be hard for them to get acclimated to the new climate that they're going to have in the program and everything. So anything that we can do to help the freshmen and bring them on board has been really good so far.
Yeah, being on Zoom could be a little bit difficult, but you know, everyone can work their way around and like get out of their shell. And I feel like when the season does approach, you'll see which team really bonded through quarantine and which team didn't. But for the next question, it's kind of similar. What have your coaches done now since the start of COVID-19 in order to keep you prepared for the upcoming season?
So as a thrower, it's pretty easy. I mean, I throw the hammer throw and the shot put. So basically all I have to do is have like a sibling, a family member, record my throws, and I can send them to coach and I get technique corrections, which is amazing. And I probably call my throws coach. I talk to the head coach, Coach Lopez, probably every week to, get updates, talk to them, see what they're thinking for me, what they think I should improve on, how I could, be more, more mobile, have more mobility, stronger, stuff like that. So it hasn't been much of a problem staying in contact with my coaches and having them help me get better.
I think that the unknown is one of the scariest things, and not knowing what our future is going to be like is really hard being an athlete. But I definitely think Coach Ibarra is really good about, we have a whole layout. Every week is laid out on Canvas of what we have to do. And having that sort of routine and system of like, okay, we're going to practice during this time during winter, and having all of this laid out already is very reassuring, and it makes you feel really excited to get back out there and like want to play your sport. So yeah, our coaches are great about making sure like we have all resources available to us and make sure our schedule fits with our athletic life.
Yeah, the coaches have definitely been a 24/7 hotline for all of the baseball players during the shutdown. We can contact them about training, class, updates, everything. And like Claire said, we've been utilizing Canvas to share information, share videos of us training, and actually get better during the quarantine shutdown. It's not the same as face-to-face interaction, but it's definitely better than nothing.
I know that there is a block between like what the season could have been and what it is now. It's a little challenging. So like, what are some challenges you have faced as a student athlete, and what are steps that you took to overcome them? Doesn't necessarily need to be COVID related, anything that you might have seen as a challenge as a student athlete.
For me personally, I've always trained since starting football at 7 years old, and been in sports my whole life. I've always trained for the good, the bad, the ugly. And what helps me push forward even when I'm feeling down, feeling like hopeless about the season and stuff like that, and weight room, things like that, I always focus on what's good that day. If I threw, I was consistent with throws. I weighed less, I weighed more, I had a bench PR. Like, I just focus on the little things and I try to make them good things. And that's what I did. That's what I did, to keep pushing forward through all the challenges and stuff.
When quarantine started, I definitely went through it's probably the first 2 weeks I was like, so am I going to do volleyball still? Like, I don't know what the plan is. I don't know what I want to do. I'm going to be at home every day. I'm not working anymore. I was kind of in a really funk. It was pretty bad. But then our coach was like, hey, we're going to have our first Zoom workout to get back in shape. And I was like, okay, I wonder how this is going to go. It's probably going to be really weird and whatever. But after that workout, I knew I was like, I have to keep playing. I have to keep working out, because if I don't, I'm not going to do it on my own. And then our coach would tell us we miss you so much. It was just, we have such a good bond as a team. And it was just so fun. Our practices, I even missed the sprints, to be honest, and I hate running, but I just missed going to practice and just seeing everyone, even though we were dying and it was so hard. I would never trade it for the world, like being at home, it sucks. So I'm just like very excited to get back out there soon. So yeah, miss my girls.
Yeah, I think being a student athlete definitely requires a certain mindset. I think that you need to be focused and know exactly what you want to do to get the most out of your situation. So I see every day as a challenge to get the most out of the day and not leave anything on the table. But it's definitely been tough with the circumstances. But like a student athlete, like a student, like an athlete, like anything in life, you just have to roll with the punches, I think.
Yeah, I know like going with the flow for sure has helped a lot of people. And then also like planning out things like Claire, you said that after one workout you wanted to like continue playing. That really helped out. I know a lot of other athletes. A big challenge that a lot of athletes do have are the ones that want to transfer and continue playing. And I know that's a big thing like within like the NCAA, how like other college coaches are gonna come watch you guys. So has COVID-19 stopped an athlete's chances at continuing to play after transferring?
Yeah, I think that's a great question because that's really been a big part of this quarantine for me. Actually, COVID has not ruined any of my goals. It's just postponed them just for a little bit of time. I actually think it's allowed me, to get better. I'm going to throw farther, which means I'm going to get bigger offers. I've been in contact with some great Division Ones lately, and I didn't have that before we went into coronavirus. So I think that it's extremely important to look at the good things, and I'm excited for 2021, and I think it's going to be a great year.
Having this big gap of time for us to train has really opened a lot of windows for all of us, where I'm a returner. So it's like I didn't finish my season, so I get a whole nother one. And it totally gives me the option, if I wanted to transfer and maybe play, I could. And I totally, like, that wasn't even an option before. Like I was like, oh, I'm just going to go to GCC, play for fun, whatever. But now it's given us some time to get better and like look at the bigger picture and be realistic and be like, hey, maybe I actually have a chance if I want to go play. Even if it's like D3, who cares? It's still like you're doing something you love.
Yeah, I've seen many of my teammates this season have their opportunities to transfer cut short. With four-year schools giving their players an extra year of eligibility back, roster spots have been extremely limited, and it's been really tough to watch. And with the spring coming up and the way things are going, it's definitely brought into a lot of questions for the class this year that's trying to transfer.
Thank you guys. Hearing what you guys are saying, super motivational. And I'm sure that there are students out there who are considering playing, maybe unsure about it, since we are in a setting where we can't really be out there on the field and you guys can't really play as a team. So what advice do you have for students who are unsure of joining a team and are hesitant since there is no guaranteed season to play?
I would tell them to not be hesitant. I mean, you'll never know unless you join. I encourage everybody to join. Everybody's welcome always to join. Sports are something special, and especially college sports. I mean, there's nothing like it. And there's no better place to be than GCC. Our athletic department is just amazing in all aspects. And I just think it's important to put it out there for everybody to be able to compete. And I think it's good for everybody, no matter if you've done sports or not. Competing is the best thing for all humans. So
There is no way you will regret it. I definitely think community college is a very underrated thing. And I think, especially when you're coming out of high school, everyone kind of is like, oh, I don't want to go to community college. I want to go to a 4-year. That's what I went through that phase for a good couple months where I was like, I don't know if I'll like it, blah, blah, blah. But it turns out like it's the best choice you could possibly make. It's like all of my friends are from sports. I have so many coaches that like have guided me through all these like paths, and they like I would not have had that if I hadn't joined a sport. Even if it's something like you're not the best at, or if you just want to do that, like do something to get out there and meet people, like that's what you have to do. And like I'm not super good, like I'm not a D1 player, like there's no way, but I would never regret my decision because it's helped me so much as a person. And like, I enjoy school. Like I enjoy seeing my teammates. I enjoy seeing my coaches. Like it's the best decision I've made, especially like that transition year to a 4-year.
I would definitely tell a student in that circumstance to pursue a sports team, especially if they have the passion and the desire to compete, regardless of the COVID-19 circumstances. I think it would just be one of the small hurdles, or not small, but one of the hurdles they would have to overcome in the sports world in general.
Thank you guys. You guys have really been really positive about this whole thing. You guys have really proven that there's more positives than negatives in this situation. For a more like lighthearted question, what is something positive you have gotten out of being away from everything and being quarantined at home?
Yeah, I was going to touch on this a little bit earlier on the second to last question, but I have gotten an amazing opportunity to actually be with my family for one more year, which I think is, I mean, it's amazing because it's hard, leaving your family, and it was kind of a worry for me because it's always just been us, and staying in quarantine, I get to be with them. I become a better cook. I've become a brother, son. I've learned things. I've rebuilt 2 trucks. Like, I've learned a lot, and I think if you take every door that opens and you take everything, take the little things and see all the good and everything. Quarantine is not that bad. So.
I definitely think it was a nice step back. Like, you could take a step back and realize like what's important in life. Like, you're at school, you're thinking about, I just failed that test. You have so many things going on. And then there's like points where you just like want to give up. You don't want to go to practice. You don't want to do all these things. And being at home and being with your family, and that's like your only choice, it makes you realize like what your priorities are in life and like what you really want to accomplish, and like the little things, like, you can't sweat the little things. Like, they don't matter long term, and you just want to be happy with yourself and like happy with your future. So I think quarantine's definitely made some people realize like what's important long term.
Yeah, some benefits that I've seen from quarantine was definitely the time to reflect and go over my goals and see what I really want to do and kind of reset my plan in general, because I think everyone really had to reset and gauge of what it was going to look like for the summer. What is my practice schedule going to look like? How am I going to work out? How am I going to deal with the transition to online? So it definitely gave me time to reset and get a game plan going, so I can be on the good side of things when we're all back. And it definitely forced myself to be more creative. Like I said, I had to build a pitching target with my grandmother. Me and my buddy made a pitching mound. Like, these things I never thought I would do or even come close to doing in March. But ever since the shutdowns happened, I've had to be more creative. And I think that's going to play a big role down the road, regardless of what I do.
Thank you guys.
I'm sorry. No, I just have something quick. You guys just have really just amazed me hearing your stories, like all of your, like, what you've contributed today, like all of it has just been really amazing, and it just really shows how amazing our GCC athletics is. So thank you so much for that. And I know Coach Cicuto is in the group right now. Sorry to put you on like the spot, but being the Associate Dean of Athletics, what have you observed from the athletes that's been surprising during quarantine? If you would like to answer.
Well, thanks for
I took the opportunity.
throwing me out there. Yeah. Well, first and foremost, I just want to thank the ASGCC for giving us an opportunity to speak. It's really awesome to see the group of leaders on our campus engage the student athletes who really spend just as much time, if not a little bit more, than the ASGCC does on campus. So thank you for this opportunity. It's awesome. It's really neat to see our kids. From a personal point of view, and I shared this with our VAALT leaders, it's hard as a coach not to see our kids day in and day out. And as the administrator has seen over 18 or 16 of our sports and over 300 athletes, you miss that on a personal level. So I can't imagine what it is to be a student athlete who's 18 to 22 years old, whose life revolves around these sports. And so really I want to commend our student athletes for the perseverance during this time. And I think that's the most important thing when it comes to what athletics teaches us. Athletics teaches us to be a great teammate. Athletics teaches us to be a competitor despite the circumstances, which you can see by the responses from our amazing panel, Claire, Riley, and Austin, how they take an optimistic point of view from it. There's always an opportunity to win. There's always an opportunity to achieve a goal you put into your mind. And that's what sports really does to us, not only as a community, as Glendale College, but as a nation as well. We rally around the underdog sometimes. We rally around the great sports stories, anywhere from like the 1980 NHL hockey team, I'm sorry, the 1980 Olympic hockey team that beat the Russians when we were the underdogs. I know none of you know what 1980 is, but I remember 1980. We rally around those sports teams and those sports figures because of the perseverance, the dedication, the work ethic, the camaraderie, the ability for us to work together despite your age, despite your race, despite your socioeconomic background. Athletics just really does present that opportunity to be a tremendous community. And I do have to tip my cap to first and foremost the kids, the students. You're amazing. I'm so proud of this group. You three individuals, and I was just sending you three a text. Thank you for your time, because you're awesome. And all three of you are 3-year athletes here at Glendale College. In that process, sometimes kids come in. I think that especially Claire and Riley can attest that you want to come to a community college and transfer in 1 year, and stuff doesn't work out that way sometimes. And that extra third year actually is a blessing in disguise. I remember me being a college athlete. All of my college roommates were in my wedding, and that's something that you go, you know what? You're not only a teammate, but you're a lifelong friend, and you can really rely on your teammates. So when it comes down to, I don't even know what the question was, but I will tell you that it's been hard, but we're going to get through this. The timeline is undetermined, but we're gonna plan for the best scenario. We're gonna prepare for the worst. We're gonna plan for the best, and we're gonna be ready. The second we get that green light, Glendale College Athletics is gonna come after it just as hungry as we were before, if not hungrier. And we're gonna be ready to transfer. We're gonna keep on doing the things that we have to do, but it's just been a pleasure to listen to our athletes speak. Thank you so much for presenting that opportunity, Nyah, and ASGCC, and thanks to our athletes. I freaking love you guys. Like, you are great people, and that's why we do this. Thanks to all of our staff for keeping us prepped, but yeah, each and every one of you. Once a vac,
Always a vac.
Always a
vac.
right? That's right. Nyah, you didn't know what you were getting into asking me to speak. Sometimes I can just go. So just.
No, we needed that. No, thank you for that. We needed that. Thank you again.
Yeah, thank you to Austin, Riley, and Claire. What you guys said today was amazing. So much positivity. It really made my day, and I'm pretty sure it made everyone else's today. But that is all the questions that we have for our student athletes today. And I would like to give a big thank you to everyone that came and showed them support, especially in a remote setting. We know it's difficult to show your support through a screen since we're not able to be out there cheering you guys on the field, court, etc., or the sand in Claire's case. Thank you to our student athletes again for taking time to answer the questions we had. We can't wait for the season to start back up so that we can cheer all of you guys on.
Yes, thank you, Meenelly, for that. I can't wait till the next panel also to hear more from our amazing student athletes and coaches. So stay tuned for the next panel. Everyone in the audience, we all hope you enjoyed. We'll be putting out an event evaluation form into the chat right now, and that's how you can be entered into the raffle. But again, thank you so much for being here and supporting our athletes, even though, like Meenelly said, we can't be out there supporting you there. Yeah, thank you guys for coming. Have a great rest of your day, guys.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Stay
Thank
I really
you.
appreciate the opportunity to speak. Thank you, guys.
Yes, it was. Thank you.
Thank you for speaking, guys. We
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Nyah, let's grab the speaker name.